and welcome to MostClick, the podcast that dives into the world of digital marketing in higher education. Each episode will be discussing the latest strategies, tactics, and tools being used by colleges and universities to reach and engage their target audience, from social media marketing to SEO, email campaigns to influencer marketing. We'll cover it all. Join us as we explore the ever-evolving world of higher education marketing and hear from the industry experts on how they are driving enrollment and engagement in the digital age. Now, that is a pretty unwieldy intro, but the point is that an artificial intelligence wrote that intro for me because that is the topic of today. Kyle from the Education Marketer, I know you are super into this AI stuff. ChatGPT is just the biggest buzzword going around LinkedIn right now, and I know that it's got educators fearful, universities running around not knowing what to do with it. Where do we even begin on this whole roller coaster?
Firstly, best intro ever.
Well, the robots are better than me already. You know, I've known this for a long time, but yeah.
But this is it, isn't it? It's like, you know, probably for the first, I say about 5 seconds, you wouldn't even think it, would you? Right? You know, you're doing an intro, it's in your voice. You don't really think an AI would have written it, would you? I mean, it's quite chunky, like you said, but this thing is incredible. And right now, you're right, we're in the hype cycle. But in the next few months, the hype will die down a little bit, but it's not going away, and it's still going to be working in the background, and it's going to be changing things. Now, higher ed has, I'd say, has responded to this largely quite well. And it's the school system in the kind of earlier part of education that is, for once better phrase, has lost its shit over it. I've seen a lot of positive stuff happening in higher ed. I read a piece in The Guardian recently that highlighted that 3 universities in Australia have now said to students, use this as part of your assessments. It's progress, as long as you declare that you have. I imagine over time that probably won't be necessary, but you can see people starting to embrace it. And similarly, more close to home, I know UA92 is already running classes for its students in how to use it as part of their assignments and as just general employability skills, because the working world is using this. If students aren't encouraged to use it, then they're going to be starting workplaces, you know, digital roles, and already be a bit of a disadvantage. So I see some good stuff coming out of this. I think we can probably dive into how marketers can use it, but it's the earlier end of the education industry, that's the wrong phrase, of education years that are not handling this in a way that I think is conducive to the future of young people and how they can use digital technologies.
I mean, for the uninitiated as well, ChatGPT is a system that went live in Q4 2022. It's a chatbot. You can ask it anything. It's natural language, kind of treat it almost like a human. You can tell it to do stuff and it will spit out text back to you in lots of different ways. I mean, we were on earlier. We asked it, write me a personal statement for an application to Oxford University. I want to study English literature there. And it wrote these paragraphs of prose here. Lifelong lover. I can't even say it. The robot is better than me speaking, for God's sake. As a lifelong lover of literature, I'm excited to apply for the English literature program at Oxford University. I mean,
it's generic, isn't it? Right, but I think.
But my prompt is generic. Yeah. I mean, you know, it's as detailed as the prompt that you give it. I think this is the next big thing. It's like, well, it's prompt writing is now the skill for artificial intelligence.
Yeah, and there's so many different layers to that as well, isn't there? And when it first sort of started to blow up on LinkedIn, the main narrative around it was replacing a copywriter, and I think that's the complete wrong direction to go down. It's not like you type in something and then suddenly, bang, it's done. It's more of an assistant. You talk to it, you shape what's coming out of it, and you can add all kinds of layer of detail to make that output.
Yeah, and
You want.
there's a really kind of prominent figure on Twitter, and the best quote I've read about all of this is that AI won't replace you, someone using
Yeah,
AI will.
that's it.
Um,
That's it.
and being honest, I've been using this almost every day since it came out. I've been using it for tons of stuff, from simple questions like this. Tell me the three biggest challenges in higher education in the UK. It's
Yeah,
funding.
funding.
Access and inclusion, though, like that's it's really cool. It's pointing this stuff out. But then on top of this, we've got what else did we ask it? What is the best digital marketing tactic for a university to deploy? There's two here: content marketing, social media, but you can get more creative with it. So I said, write a poem about why university life is tough, and it did. University life is tough, with endless tasks to do, from early morning lectures to late night study too. And then I said, now make it a haiku. University life tough, endless tasks, endless pain, but it leads to growth. And there are all sorts of applications for this. It's as creative as you are.
I mean,
To
in
a
the
large
education space, there's two streams here, isn't there? There's like marketers, you can use it to essentially scale their content creation work, cut out some of the idea generation phase, do it quicker. But then for me also, which kind of borderline what I recover really, is how young people can use it and how it gives young people access to stuff they didn't have before. And when I'm personal, I'll get with this, but when I was younger and in school, I really struggled with language, like hideously bad, right? And to the extent I'm put in different classes and I'm put in environments that aren't inspirational, and I didn't improve. And it's only when I went to college and then computers were a thing and spell checks, all of that stuff just disappeared. And I know it's not the same, but if I had access to something like this when I was younger, I could have removed some of that anxiety and got the ideas that are in my head out into a format. I wouldn't have had to suffer for 3 years.
I have that sort of stuff now, like in my current life. Matt, who is not on today's episode because he's not feeling too well, but so Matt and I, obviously, we're co-founders together. We work very closely, and for years I've never been fantastic at tone in emails, for example. So I'll forever kind of ring Matt up and be like, hey, I've written this email, but could you just check it over for me? Like, I really don't want it to like come across in this particular way or whatever. Now I just kind of put that to ChatGPT and I'm like, hey, I've written this email, but can you rewrite it so that it's in this particular tone of voice or something like that?
Yeah. So it doesn't make you sound like you're being abrasive or something like that.
Completely, and it's such a cool, you said before, like an assistant. It's such a cool assistant in that sense. And there's just so many like these micro adaptations of how you can utilize tools like this is very, very cool. I mean, for me, I think ChatGPT is AI's iPhone
I agree.
moment.
Yeah, that's exactly how I'm looking at it.
We were having a conversation before, Carl, you were talking about there's a really cool piece from NVIDIA, a big graphics company. And so like now I'm not looking directly into the lens. I'm looking slightly off center because that's where Kyle is, right? And so NVIDIA's got this thing where if I look off screen here, my eyes would still be looking directly at the camera. Yeah. And it's remarkable. I'm like, God, I want that so much right now.
Yeah.
And then I said to you, Carl, I said, oh, did you know that FaceTime on an iPhone has been doing that for like 18 months now? And you're like, what? No. And it's AI, it's embedded, it's everywhere that we are at the moment. But ChatGPT has just brought it to the forefront in such a way that you kind of, about it. So obviously it's
become
great.
A topic of engagement and discussion, hasn't it?
I think that the fact that it's text, it makes it so accessible in a way that AI hasn't I mean, OpenAI, the people behind it, just months really before they'd released DALL-E, which is an image generator for AI. And this is really cool because you can tell it what you want out of an image, and it will spit it out. So like here, I tried to tell it of a description of me, and see what it would spit back out, and it's not bad. And I've got some terrible ones like this cat with laser eyes, not the best thing I've ever produced, all the way through to things that weirdly I'm incredibly fond of and almost proud of. And there's lots of conversations about who is the creator, who is the owner. But yeah, I mean, certainly a really interesting. AI is just so prevalent now in the things that we're doing. It's awesome.
I think it's a great leveler. And one of the sort of lenses I'm looking at it through is, calculator makes everyone a half decent mathematician. iPhone makes everyone a half decent photographer. This new technology, ChatGPT, makes everyone a decent writer. So it removes those barriers, and it just enables people to be more creative. I mean, I've heard people so excited about this, and they go, "Oh my god, I can finally write blog posts. I can get my ideas out." And we're all too worried about the end of the copywriter and people losing jobs and stuff, when actually what we should be doing is talking about how this enables so many people to finally be creative and add their voice to something which they couldn't do before. And schools should focus on that, but they're not. It's fear. Let's ban it. Let's make everyone write essays by hand, which is a great shame. And it does a disservice to young people. And it's doing them out of the skills that they need to succeed in the workplace of the future.
I mean, ChatGPT, it's still free right now. They did just announce a paid plan, $45 a month, which again, way cheaper, I think, than most people thought it was going to be. But it's free. Go and try it out. My takeaway for this episode, I think, is like go have fun with it. Like tell it to do some stuff. It's really and you might fall into things really quickly that you go, oh, it'd be cool actually if. And just do that. Over Christmas, I asked it to do me a recipe for a curry, and I made it, and it was delicious.
There you go. I mean, it's worth its weight now, isn't it? It's proven its worth. Yeah.
There you go. Well, Kyle, thank you for joining me again. Kyle there from The Education Marketer. If you've enjoyed today's episode, please consider dropping us a like or a subscribe below. And until next time, see you soon.